Do you believe that animals can really feel something supernatural, something beyond our understanding? Imagine an ordinary day, and out of nowhere, your faithful canine companion starts acting strangely, crying nonstop, staring fixedly at a corner of the room where apparently there is nothing. This intriguing behavior is not just a passing whim, but rather an omen that has fascinated and puzzled many people around the world. Today, we will dive into the mysterious story of Rex, the dog who seems to possess the extraordinary ability to sense death. Rex has lived with his owners for almost a decade, and throughout all this time he has always been a friendly, happy, and extremely loyal dog. There were never any signs that he might be in tune with esotericism or supernatural factors. But all that changed radically on a particular night, when he began to cry inconsolably. There were no thunderstorms in the sky, no fireworks, or anything else that could justify his behavior. At the moment, his owners were perplexed, not knowing how to calm him, while genuine tears ran down Rex's snout. It was then that grim news surfaced days later. A family neighbor had unexpectedly passed away. It was a shocking experience that left everyone shaken, but it raised an even more disturbing question. Had Rex sensed the death even before it happened? Could this dog really be in contact with invisible forces, picking up signals that escape human perception? Perhaps you have already experienced something similar with your own pet. Stay with me until the end, because what you are about to discover now may surprise you. It is fascinating how animals are capable of picking up emotional nuances that we humans cannot always grasp. Would it then be so absurd for them to also perceive invisible presences, energies that we cannot decipher? Over the years, various studies have suggested that dogs possess highly developed sensory abilities. Their sharp senses of smell and hearing allow them to detect subtleties in the environment, being able to predict weather changes, and even sense natural disasters before they occur. But what can we say when what is at stake are forces that completely escape reason and scientific logic? In this video, we will dissect some of these intriguing theories, diving into the idea that dogs, with their purity of spirit and total reliance on their instincts, might indeed feel the presence of ghosts or even sense future tragedies. Reports and testimonies from people who have gone through similar experiences are not rare. They are real, and the testimony of their owners who lived closely with situations like Rex's adds even more substance to this phenomenon. By understanding the language of the supernatural through the eyes of sensitive animals like Rex, perhaps we can discover truths that elude us in everyday life. So, stay alert and ready to unravel these mysteries with me. What is really happening when Rex starts crying uncontrollably? Is there a logic behind all this, or are we facing a truly supernatural ability? As we explore this path full of surprises and enigmas, we will draw surprising connections between everyday events and the inexplicable. With this story just beginning, what awaits us from here on is a dive into a world that challenges our senses and logic. But perhaps it is exactly what is needed to start looking at your pet in a completely new way. Rex's story leads us to question the very essence of the bond we share with our pets. It is a connection that, at first glance, seems purely emotional, but as we can see from Rex's reactions, it may have deeper layers, filled with invisible connections beyond our understanding. As we progress on this mysterious journey, it becomes clear that many others have experienced similar situations, where their animals seem to know more than they appear to. And it is precisely at this point that the magic happens. By sharing our stories and experiences, we uncover together the secrets hidden beneath the surface. It is fascinating to imagine what more we can discover by sharing our own stories and listening to those of others. If this topic resonates with you, leave in the comments what touched you most about Rex's story, or perhaps share your own experience. After all, your voice here makes all the difference and could be the key to better understanding these phenomena. Moreover, by liking this video, you not only support the dedicated work we put into each piece of content, but also help spread this knowledge to others who, like you, are seeking answers. And if you wish to continue following intriguing and revealing stories like this one, consider subscribing to the channel. Your participation is what keeps this community alive and motivates us to investigate even more about the unknown. We are just beginning to explore the vast and mysterious world of the senses of our faithful companions, and your interaction here is essential. With every new like, comment, and subscription, we feel that we are together on an adventure of exciting discoveries, a journey that is undoubtedly better when done collectively. So, don't stop here. Your presence and engagement are truly valuable as we continue to uncover what more Rex and other amazing animals have to teach us. Rex, a sweet and loyal Labrador, quickly won the hearts of everyone in the neighborhood when he was still a puppy. With expressive brown eyes full of sweetness, he easily became the center of attention wherever he went. At 6 years old, his presence already radiated a unique energy, as if he possessed a deeper understanding of the world around him, something that showed in every loving interaction with his owners. Rex, always ready for a game or a cuddle, could brighten anyone's day with his comforting presence, and it was impossible not to smile when watching his genuine joy. It was not uncommon for his family to be surprised by the sensitivity he showed. When someone was sad, Rex seemed to know exactly what to do, offering a friendly paw or lying silently beside the person in solidarity. His existence was a constant reminder of the importance of empathy and unconditional love. This level of emotional connection is not something easily achieved, but Rex seemed to have a natural gift for making everyone around him feel they belonged to something greater. But he was not always seen just as an adorable dog. At social events, his behavior often raised curious questions. How is this possible? Many wondered, stirring the imagination and opening doors to deeper reflections about what it really means to feel and perceive the world in layers we do not fully recognize. Rex, unknowingly, offered us a valuable lesson about transformation and the impact of small daily actions on our lives. Now I want to go even deeper into this subject, guiding you on a journey where we encounter revelations that challenge our conventional perceptions. On one such occasion, a peculiar behavior of Rex caught everyone's attention. In the middle of a quiet afternoon, he began to act inexplicably, as if following something invisible. Everyone in the room stopped to watch as he stared intently at a distant point, indifferent to familiar calls, as if he were in tune with a hidden truth that no one else could see. The decisions we make from these experiences with our faithful companions can rewrite our mindset and prepare us for a world of previously unimaginable possibilities. They invite us to reflect on what surrounds us in a way that only those who live with an animal can fully understand. This journey is not just about our pets, but about how we connect with ourselves, with others, and even with what seems to transcend tangible reality. Rex's story challenges us to look beyond the surface, to consider what else might exist outside our own limited perception, and from there, to follow paths of discovery that may eventually change everything we have always thought we knew about life. With all this, I enter the next chapter of our script, exploring the limits of what is perceived as real and the influence of emotions on the experiences we share with our animals. And before we continue this conversation, comment here, "This makes sense to me." Let's discover more about this fascinating universe together. That spring afternoon, the peace that usually reigned in the house was abruptly interrupted by a sound no one expected to hear. Rex, the always cheerful and friendly dog, began to cry in a way his owners had never witnessed before. It was a deep, melancholic lament, loaded with an almost palpable emotional weight. He was restless. His paws seemed uneasy on the floor, and his entire posture suggested an internal struggle, as if something invisible was haunting him. This peculiar behavior made everyone in the house anxious and worried. Rex's owners tried to understand what could have triggered such a reaction. Thinking it was physical discomfort, they sought to comfort and examine their furry friend. However, the intensity of Rex's crying did not cease, and his expression revealed more than just simple discomfort. The desire to help was great, but there was a complexity in what no one there fully understood. Following that strange day, while Rex's mysterious behavior still weighed on his owners' minds, news of a devastating loss in the neighborhood quickly reached their door. A beloved neighbor, with whom Rex had a special bond, had unexpectedly passed away. That connection was instant and impactful for everyone. Could Rex, in some transcendent way, have sensed the death and reacted to the invisible ordeal surrounding her home? This incident marked the beginning of a series of events that made the link between animal behavior and the supernatural an inexhaustible point of fascination for many. Now I want to go even deeper into this subject, exploring the revelations that arise when we open our minds to the possibility that these emotional connections go far beyond what we can rationalize. Behind the scenes of our daily lives, there are so many layers of perception that we often ignore, or worse, dismiss as mere coincidence. But what if these cries and laments that seem to defy logic are not just reflections of emotional changes, but rather clues to a hidden truth that many of us are too distracted to perceive? By opening our hearts to this journey, we are forced to re-examine the way we make decisions every day, from how we interact with our own animals to how we perceive the invisible world around us. It is a path of transformation where each step brings us closer to a fuller understanding of the interaction between emotions and energy. Our mindset undergoes an inevitable change when confronted with the idea that there is an entire universe waiting to be unveiled through the eyes of our four-legged companions. As we move forward, new questions arise, pulling us into a vortex of curiosity and discovery. Is this heightened perception ability an exclusive gift of animals, or perhaps a talent that we, as human beings, once possessed but lost over time? The search for answers invites us to an internal revolution, an invitation to reevaluate reality as we know it. As you reflect on all this, share your view. Write, "I am on this journey too." Together, we can open dialogues that resonate beyond this small digital space, echoing in hearts willing to see beyond the obvious. Continuing our exploration of the mysterious world of canine perceptions, we find a wealth of studies that lead us to reflect on the incredible sensitivity of animals. Many experts believe that dogs, cats, and other animals possess an intuitive ability to perceive phenomena that go beyond our understanding. This perception includes the ability to detect invisible presences, premonitions about death, and, in some cases, even diseases that have not yet been diagnosed in humans. Researchers like Rupert Sheldrake have been exploring this fascinating animal sensitivity for years. His theory of morphic fields suggests a telepathic connection between all living beings, where these animals act as receivers of signals that escape human perception. According to these investigations, the inexplicable behavior of animals is an indication that they may be tuned into a type of consciousness or energy field not yet identified by contemporary science. This is not just a theoretical concept. It is supported by numerous reports of animals predicting crises or sensing the presence of loved ones, even when they are far away. Now I want to go even deeper into this subject, imagining the implications of this tangible connection for our understanding of the world. If animals like Rex can sense changes we cannot see, this leads us to reflect on the very reach of human senses and what we might also perceive if our mindset were more open to such experiences. This revelation highlights how important it is to remain open and receptive to the unknown possibilities that surround us. The intersection between science and the invisible spectrum challenges the boundaries of our understanding and points to new horizons of knowledge and personal transformation. These ideas not only expand our imagination, but eventually reshape our interaction with the natural world, considering the mental transformation necessary to fully understand what our four-legged friends seem to naturally feel. As we delve deeper into this journey of discoveries, we are invited to consider, how might this impact our own lives? Reflecting on this helps us build a deeper and more intriguing connection with the universe we inhabit. Like them, perhaps we are capable of picking up energies and experiences that previously escaped us. With this reflection, I leave you with a question. Write down, "I'm on this journey too," and together, let's uncover more about this incredible sensory universe. As we continue on this journey of discoveries, other accounts arise that make it impossible to ignore the power of these experiences. It's not just Rex who surprises us. Around the world, dogs and other animals are at the center of stories that leave a hint of mystery in the air. In a small town in the countryside, for example, the behavior of Bella, a female dog who, without any apparent explanation, began howling and acting restless on the very night a nearby neighbor suffered a serious accident, was recorded. Hours later, when the news arrived, the family immediately connected Bella's behavior to the tragedy, reinforcing the feeling that she had sensed something out of the ordinary. There is also the well-known case of Oscar, the famous cat from a nursing home in the United States. This animal would approach and lie next to patients exactly in the hours before their passing, as if offering companionship or sensing the presence of something invisible. This type of episode, even documented by doctors, only increased interest in animals' sensory abilities, encouraging debates that include both scientific aspects and explanations that go beyond the conventional. Now, I want to go even deeper into this subject because these examples are not isolated. They emerge in different contexts around the world, suggesting a sensitivity that challenges the boundaries of reason. Could it be that these animals pick up energies, vibrations, or emotions in a way we have lost over time? Observing their behavior invites transformation. Could we, on some level, recover this intuition or at least learn from it? Besides raising questions about our own role in the face of the unknown, these stories have a direct impact on how we perceive the journey we share with our four-legged companions. By embracing these possibilities, we open space for a renewed mindset that values every signal and every expression of these beings who walk beside us. The hidden truth in these experiences is that there may be much more to feel than what we can see or explain. And on this path, it is up to each of us to decide whether to merely observe or to seek to understand more about this fascinating universe of invisible perceptions. Comment below. This makes sense to me, and let's give voice together to these revealing experiences. Right after those surprising cases showing how animals around the world demonstrate extraordinary perceptions, something even more intriguing began to unfold in Rex's routine. What was initially seen as an isolated episode took on a much larger dimension, especially when that peculiar restlessness of the dog reappeared. It was as if a silent cycle had settled there, revealing a pattern impossible to ignore for those who followed it closely. Each time Rex cried inconsolably, his family no longer saw it as just a simple discomfort or passing fear. On the contrary, the prevailing feeling was one of alertness, as if everyone was about to witness another chapter of a journey marked by revelations and mystery. Over time, it became clear to everyone. Rex's suffering preceded, almost religiously, the arrival of sad news, and 3 times in a row, this behavior repeated itself in the days leading up to significant losses in the neighborhood or within the family's circle of acquaintances. These manifestations seemed to defy reason, creating an atmosphere of suspense and unease. The most impressive thing was that, during these 3 fatal days, Rex displayed the same ritual. He would stop in front of doors, stare fixedly at empty spots in the house, and walk from one corner to another, as if feeling invisible currents crossing the environment. It was impossible for the residents not to be affected by what seemed to be an ability, reinforcing the idea that there was a connection beyond everyday understanding. As new losses became reality always after these signs, the family faced a hidden truth impossible to dismiss. Rex's sensitivity was revealing itself as something much greater than coincidence. This pattern, repeated with unsettling precision, triggered a silent transformation in the mindset of everyone around. The impact of this was shaping new decisions, such as paying maximum attention to every reaction of Rex, since it could bring warnings about events beyond human perception. Now, I want to go even deeper into this subject, reflecting on the implications of this phenomenon for all relationships between people and animals. After all, if they are capable of reading such subtle signs and announcing events before they happen, what other truths might be going unnoticed? How far can this invisible bond lead us? Comment below. I'm on this journey too, and tell me if you have ever experienced something similar. Given everything experienced with Rex and the impressive repetition of his silent warnings, it is inevitable that questions arise from a more skeptical perspective. For those who maintain a stance based solely on logic and traditional science, the tendency is to seek plausible explanations for this intriguing pattern. Many argue that animals have heightened senses, hearing, smell, and even vibration perception, and therefore pick up on small changes in the environment that go completely unnoticed by humans. Thus, what seems supernatural could, in fact, be the result of a natural process of adaptation or self-protection developed over the course of evolution. Or perhaps, the close coexistence between humans and animals allows for an accurate reading of the home's emotions. They pick up on the emotional atmosphere, sense stress, anxiety, or even subtle changes in routine, associating these with more serious events, such as illnesses or losses. Another rational viewpoint bets on chance. When analyzing the huge number of dogs and cats spread across the world, it is statistically possible that some of them exhibit unusual behaviors near significant events purely by coincidence. Skeptics also raise the hypothesis of confirmation bias. After the first connection is made between the animal's behavior and a tragic event, everything the animal does differently gains weight and meaning, even if it previously went unnoticed. This would reveal much more about the perspective of those who live with Rex than about a possible supernatural ability. On the other hand, there are those who prefer to look at these episodes as pieces of a larger puzzle, reflecting on how the hidden truth of human experiences may escape more traditional explanations. The impact of these episodes is not limited to mere curiosity. It provokes a subtle transformation in the mindset of those who witness it, broadening horizons and encouraging decisions more connected with what we feel, but do not always know how to explain. Thus, there remains an open space for interpretations, where personal experience gains as much value as any scientific study. After all, each discovery in this field of behavioral backstage can open doors to deeper dialogues about our connection with the invisible, the unpredictable, and everything that challenges everyday reason. Now I want to go even deeper into this subject, because between skepticism and enchantment, there is a zone of doubts full of hidden learnings. It is there that the greatest potential for self-knowledge resides, both for humans and for the animals themselves. If these reflections touched you in some way, comment here. This makes sense to me. What truly surprises in this journey is not just the repetition of Rex's behaviors or the debates between skepticism and fascination, but rather the depth of the connection established between him and the family. There is something behind the scenes of this daily coexistence that goes far beyond everyday gestures or the habits we are used to sharing. It's as if every look, every touch, and even every silence between Rex and his owners carries a silent exchange of feelings, memories, and premonitions, forming an invisible bridge that defies the physical limitations of the world we live in. Some say that animals are capable of seeing what our eyes cannot, but there is an even more powerful aspect: the power of emotions circulating between humans and their pets. Imagine for a moment the transformations that happen daily when a dog senses the sadness, joy, or anxiety present in the home. These moments create true bonds of trust and complicity, which unite them even more. Perhaps it is this intimate bond, full of genuine feelings, that allows Rex to perceive changes that escape rationality but strongly resonate in the emotional field of the family. Observing the behind-the-scenes of these relationships, the intensity of the impact caused by these small interactions becomes clear, which often go unnoticed. It is not uncommon for accounts from those who share life with animals to reveal episodes of comfort on difficult days, behavioral changes without apparent explanation, or even the awakening of a new mindset focused on embracing emotions without judgment. When coexistence is deep and authentic, it transforms every part of the routine, reinventing decisions and redefining the meaning of companionship. Now I want to go even deeper into this subject, because when we look at the essence of this bond, we begin to understand how emotions can become true channels of communication between different species. It is in this universe of silent revelations that we find not only answers, but also an invitation to see the positive impact of these connections on our own journey and on how we approach relationships around us. Write this down. I'm on this journey too, if you have ever felt this invisible bond with your animal. Despite all attempts to explain, justify, or even rationalize the special bond between Rex and his family, there is a point where words simply seem unable to capture the grandeur of the mystery. Throughout this journey, we have delved into different perspectives and explored the behind-the-scenes of human-animal coexistence, trying to grasp, through small clues, some hidden truth capable of deciphering Rex's signals. What lingers in the air is precisely this feeling that, no matter how advanced our mindset is, there are phenomena that defy logical understanding. And perhaps that is exactly the charm of the experience. Even in the face of so many conscious decisions, careful observations, and various proposed explanations, the definitive reason for Rex's behavior never fully reveals itself. It's as if each episode, each silent alert, each emotion shared between him and his owners is part of a plot that resists the limits of our knowledge. Perhaps the true impact of these events lies there, forcing us to accept that, in certain chapters of life, mystery is not only inevitable, but necessary for us to keep questioning and learning. The enchantment is precisely in this impossibility of pinpointing exactly where animal intuition ends and the intervention of something greater, invisible, begins. Something that only the sensitivity of pets seems to perceive. Now I want to go even deeper into this subject, because when we accept that there are questions without clear answers, we open space for new forms of connection. We are invited to rethink beliefs, to listen more attentively to the subtleties of our daily lives, and to embrace the unknown without fear, recognizing the beauty of the revelations that arise when we free our minds from prejudgments. After all, the journey through mystery does not need an end, but rather an ever more open gaze toward what cannot be explained. Comment here. This makes sense to me if, like me, you feel that some bonds and events are beyond simple understanding. Now, after everything we have experienced and reflected on regarding the mysteries surrounding Rex's behavior and so many other animals, it is inevitable to think about how each person may hold, in their own story, some inexplicable episode. That moment when the pet looked differently, anticipated an unexpected visit, became agitated before an important event, or simply stayed by our side in the moments we needed it most, even without us saying a word. When we make room for such stories, we are surprised by how much these experiences multiply, showing that the transformation brought about by animal companionship goes beyond what the eyes can see. It is common to realize that, behind the scenes of routine, many families have gone through, or are still going through, situations that defy any simplistic explanation. In this journey, every detail gains meaning. A bark at an unusual time, movement on quiet days, or that silence filled with something greater. These are revelations that are part of the silent impact animals have on so many lives, inviting a more receptive mindset to the surprises of the universe around us. Gradually, an almost invisible network of stories is created, showing that the hidden truth of these bonds exists in homes both inside and outside our closest circle. Now I want to go even deeper into this subject, because when we open our hearts and minds to share these experiences, we are not just venting or telling a curiosity, we are in fact encouraging a collective transformation, in which every voice matters and every experience has the power to inspire new decisions and reflections. Deep down, this is how the journey gains new meanings. When we understand that each story, no matter how simple, can be the missing piece in the great puzzle of connections between humans and animals. If you have ever experienced something like this, or know someone who has gone through an episode that seems to surpass the barriers of common sense, comment here, "I'm on this journey too." If you've made it this far, it's because you truly connect with this search for answers and the exchange of experiences that make a difference in our journey. If everything we talked about today brought value to you, take the opportunity to subscribe to the channel. That way, every time there's new content about these mysteries and connections, you'll stay informed and won't miss anything. Leave your like if you felt this conversation touched you in some way, and comment below, "I'm with you until the end," just so I know you've stayed with us in this reflection so far. And if you want to expand this universe even more, there's a video here on the side that complements what we've just experienced together. Click there and continue with me over there.